Hey YouTube! So for today's video I am going to be doing my first wrap up and I'm really excited because hopefully I will be doing these at the end of every month / beginning of the month because sometimes you just don't have time to get to it at the very end of the month. So here we go. The first book I read in the month of June was P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I absolutely loved To All the Boys I Loved Before. It was like my favorite book I read last year. It came out last year, right? It was just one of my favorite contemporaries ever and I had been dying for this book. And while I did love it, like don't get me wrong, I thought it was an amazing book, I didn't like it quite as much as I liked the first book. I love Lara Jean as a narrator. I really enjoyed this book. It was really cool to see how Lara Jean, and I don't want to spoil the first book for people, but how her relationship at the end of that book plays over into this, and a new guy comes into the picture and her just kind of wrestling between that. I don't know why I didn't like this quite as much as the other one. I just didn't get the same feeling at the end of it. The reason I didn't like it quite as much as the first one is I think I just kind of liked the storyline of the first one a little bit better. I thought it was a little more interesting. I really don't know. I can't really like explain why I didn't like this book quite as much because I only gave it a ½ star rating difference, so it wasn't a huge difference to me. So I gave P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in June is Things We Know by Heart by Jessie Kirby. I had never read one of her books before, but she's at a lot of the book signings and book events that I go to, and I had read the synopsis of this because I know she has a couple other books out, but this is her newest book. I had read a synopsis of it and it just sounded so cool. It's about this girl named Quinn who her boyfriend was in an accident and he died, and he was an organ donor, so all his different organs went to different people, and she was grieving a lot, so she reached out to the different organ donors and made contact with them just to kind of make herself, you know, feel a little bit more closure, and all of them got back in touch with her and she got to talk to them except the person who his heart went to, and that's the one that meant the most to her. You're not supposed to like contact them anymore if they don't want to contact you because it's up to them, but she just can't let it go. So she finds the guy who Trent's heart, that's her boyfriend's name, Trent's heart is now in, and he happens to be this really hot guy and she swears she's not gonna make any contact with him, she just wants to see him, but things don't really go according to plan and she ends up really liking him, but he doesn't know that she was the boyfriend of the guy's heart she has. And so it's a really good contemporary book. I really enjoyed it. I didn't like love it, but I did really enjoy it. I would definitely recommend this book though if you're looking for a good contemporary that's has a little bit more heart to it. Is that really cheesy to say? But you know, it's not as lighthearted as a lot of contemporaries are, obviously, because this deals with death and organ donating and all that stuff. But I did really enjoy this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So the next book that I read is Rapture Practice by Erin Hartzler. Again, this is another author that I see all the time at book events that I go to in the Los Angeles, Southern California area. And I'd been wanting to read this book for quite a while since I met him last year, but I really decided I wanted to read it after I heard his keynote speak at the Ontario Teen Book Fest in March, but I only just got around to reading it recently, and oh my god, you guys, this book, please read this book. It is amazing. It was definitely one of the best books I read in a while. This book like makes you feel everything. It makes you feel angry and really happy and gives you butterflies and you're heartbroken and want to cry and scream and throw the book across the room. Like, you literally feel everything in this book. So the thing that is unique about this book is it is actually an autobiography about the author's life, because he grew up in a very religious evangelical family and he was gay. Of course, he didn't really realize this right away, and so it's all about him struggling with that, realizing it, and just growing up in that kind of situation. It is at times a very hard book to read, especially me being a very liberal Democrat. I just was like, what? This book, like I said, it makes you feel everything. I was so angry at someone. I really wanted to like punch his parents in the face. I was like, how can people be like this? It was such a good book. Like, this does not read like you're reading about someone's life. It reads like a novel, and that's why I think this is really, really good. Like, even if you've never read autobiographies or that's not your thing, which I hadn't, it reads like a novel. Like, you don't feel like you're reading a non-fiction. It literally reads like fiction, but it's real. And so I would highly, highly, highly recommend this. It was such an amazing book. I think it's a very important book too. There aren't many stories like this out there, and it just kind of shows you like a different part that, you know, something I never experienced and hope no one else ever has to again, though I know that's not gonna happen. So I would really recommend this book. Please go pick this up. It was freaking amazing. Not many people have ever read this book or even heard of it. It is so good. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was just amazing, and not many books leave me feeling like that after I finish it. Like, I've just been torn apart with all my emotion. Highly, highly, highly recommend this. I cannot recommend this book enough. I just was like on a roll in June because the next book I picked up was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I know that everyone and their mother read this book in May, but I didn't have a chance to read it or even buy it until June, and as soon as I got it in the mail, I read it, and this was amazing. Like everyone has been saying, I absolutely loved this book. I actually liked it more than Throne of Glass. I just liked the romance in this book better. It was just, it was so good. This is more of a new adult, I would say. It's almost like in between new adult and young adult, and so I really enjoyed that. But okay, I don't understand how anyone is team anything other than Tamlin. I mean, Rhys doesn't even come in the book till like the later half, really. You barely know him. How can you be a team when, like, I just don't understand. Like, I understand for maybe the next book when he's more fleshed out and introduced, people being team Rhys, but like, how can you be team anything other than Tamlin? He's really the only guy in this book. Like, what is the matter with you people? Even if Rhys was in this book more, I love Tamlin. I really hope that in the end she ends up together with him. I think their endgame, because I mean, like, Beauty and the Beast. That's what this book is based on. He's the Beast, she's the Beauty. Beast and Beauty go together, not this random guy Rhys, who I actually did enjoy. I just don't want her to end up with him in the end. Like, sure, in the next book, struggle between the two, but just end up with Tamlin, okay? Okay. Anyways, this book was so good. I read it in one sitting. I just could not put it down. I think I was up to like 7 in the morning or something finishing this. It was so good. Other than the romance, I really enjoyed the world building in this and the folklore. And I actually really enjoyed Feyre. I know a lot of people have been like comparing her to Bella, but I didn't think she was like that. And I didn't really think this was insta-love. Like, I think it happened gradually. Honestly, I loved everything about this book. I liked the villain. I liked the storyline. I really liked the twist that she gave it. I knew the mask would have something to do with the curse because, you know, Beauty and the Beast, that's how it was, and so I just assumed that's how it was going to be in this book, but I didn't really see how it was all going to play out, so I did enjoy that a lot. This book was amazing. I loved it. I cannot wait till the next one. I can't believe it's going to take a year for the next one to come out, but I am so excited for this book. But I'm really surprised I like this more than Throne of Glass, because Throne of Glass is so amazing. Obviously, Sarah J. Maas can do no wrong, and instantly she is now one of my favorite authors, because if I like one series by you, I really like you, but I have to read another series for me to really see if it, you know, if that one was a fluke. But after this, I know that Sarah J. Maas will now be one of my favorite authors, and I will buy anything she writes. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. The next book that I read is Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban. Like I said in my Harry Potter video, I had only ever read the first book and the last book. And I read Chamber of Secrets last month and loved it, and I read Prisoner of Azkaban this month and also loved it. This is, I guess, where when it comes to the movies, there were some things that it started to differ a good bit, but I still really, really enjoyed the book. I did like the book better than the movie. I also really love the movie. It's always been one of my favorite movies. And I don't understand why a lot of Harry Potter fans don't like this movie, because most of it is in there. Yes, there are some things that I really wish had been in the movie, like I really wish they'd gone into more detail about Harry's father and his friend. I think that was a really important thing that they missed out on. But other than that, I think it was an amazing book. I basically knew everything that was going on. And I mean, it's Harry Potter. You know, it's gonna be amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. So as I said, and read this month, I loved the To All the Boys I Loved Before duology, and I'd been wanting to pick up The Summer I Turned Pretty for a while. I did think I owned it. And then I saw it on my shelf and I was like, oh crap, wait, when did I buy this? And then I remembered when I met Jenny at Festival of Books in April, I picked up this one too because I wanted it to be signed. Because I wanted to get it signed. And so I was really in the mood to read something like this. So I picked it up, and while I did like it, I was actually kind of disappointed. I love To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I had heard amazing things about this series, but this book was just okay to me. Like, I liked it, but I didn't think there was anything amazing or groundbreaking about this book. It's pretty cliche, you know, this girl goes away for the summer. She's been going away for the summer for years. It's kind of like a love triangle square, not knowing who she wants. I guess the best thing I could describe it is it felt like a lot of other contemporary books I read. I am going to continue on with this series though, because I did like it and I'm hoping it will get better. And it's really short and it was like a quick read. I think I did read it in 1 or 2 sittings. I definitely prefer her To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. This was just, wasn't anything special about it really. So I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read in the month of June, I finished it the last day of June, is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. So I have been wanting to read this book for a long time. I had owned Since You've Been Gone, and I read that last month and loved it. I was going to the water park or something and I was like, this book is perfect for summer and like being out by the pool and reading it. So I started them and I really enjoyed this book. It is such a fun story. Though it did have it was a little bit more serious at times than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be kind of like a fun little summer road trip. But it had a lot more heart to that because the main character, Amy, her dad just died a couple months ago, and the reason Roger is driving is because it was a car accident and she's afraid to drive now. And so it's really fun because they don't really know each other at all at the beginning of this book, but obviously that changes on this road trip. And I just really enjoyed this book. I really liked Amy and Roger as the main characters. I thought they were really fun. I enjoyed their relationship and all the places they went. It made me really want to take a road trip after this because I haven't really been on one. I mean, the most I've done is like up California, and that's it. It was so much fun. And the other thing I will say is, if you read this book, I would really recommend reading it with the playlist, because I'm not really a person who reads with music on. I kind of need it to be like quiet other than like a fan running, except when I'm reading out in public, because when you're out in public there's just a lot of distractions. So I will put my headphones on and put music on. It's weird. For some reason I could read like that out in public, but I can't really read with music on. It's kind of distracting. So usually I just read with white noise on because I'm usually just reading at home. But for this one, I decided to look up the songs and play them, and it really added to the experience of reading this book. You're not really going to be able to get through all the songs before the next playlist comes, so I just went to the next playlist. But it's still just really cool. A lot of the songs really relate to what's going on in the book at the time, and it also is really good music. At least it's my kind of music. It's a lot of indie rock, and that's definitely what I'm into. And so I have some new bands now thanks to this book. So it's like I read a great book and I got some new music recommendation out of it, which is pretty cool. And other than the playlist, there are also cool things like pictures in it, and there's like receipts and stuff. So So I really enjoyed that there was more than just the writing in it. I hadn't really read a book that had things like that, and I thought it was really enjoyable. I didn't quite like this as much as Since You've Been Gone. Again, I wish I could like describe why I didn't quite like it as much. It's just, I know a 5-star book after I read it, you know, it's like that feeling getting of, oh, I'm so sad it's over, like what am I gonna do? That's how I know it's a 5-star book. And while I did love this book, I wasn't like, ugh, my heart hurts, which is how I feel after 5-star books. But I did give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars because I did really love it. And so now all I need to read is Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, and I will be all caught up on my Matson because I think she is an amazing writer. So if you're gonna read this book, make sure you listen to the playlist because it just makes for a much better reading experience. So I'm gonna link the playlist down below that I made in case you wanna listen to them, just so they're easily convenient. They're all on YouTube. I try to do the ones that I would think would have the least amount of ads, and just like the lyric ones because those load quicker and you kind of wouldn't get the experience that they had, which is they just listened to it. They didn't have like the music videos and stuff. So that's how I did it. And so all the places are there. There are a couple songs missing because I guess a couple of them are like extremely obscure that they're not even on YouTube. If you want to listen to them while you're reading, or you just want to listen to them, links down below. So that is the end of my June wrap up. I read a total of 7 books this month, and I think that's pretty good. That's almost 2 books a week. And I know in July I'm not really going to be reading that much because there's a lot of stuff going on. I have Comic-Con and VidCon, and those things take up a lot of time. So I'm happy that I did read as much as I did read this month. So now let me do my first book stacking. Is that what you call it? I don't know. Okay, let's do this. There we go. It's my first book tower. What are these called? Like, does someone know what you call this? My first book stacking for my first book stacking wrap up. I don't know what you call this. I'm happy. Yay, books. I guess this is better. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, stop. Okay. I guess it looks better like this way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And please subscribe too. It would mean a lot to me. I am trying to get to 500 subscribers by VidCon because YouTube has this stupid new thing where you can't make a custom URL unless you have 500 subscribers. It's so dumb. Ugh. So unless I want to write a bunch of numbers and letters on my VidCon pass for my YouTube channel and on a custom URL, it's gonna be super annoying. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe and stuff so I get to 500 followers because it would really mean a lot to me. Alright guys, I will see you next time. Bye!